don't believe in work-life balance because I just don't think it's easy to attain. But I believe in integration and making my kids a part of what we do and making them part of our successes and part of our challenges too.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Painter Growth Podcast. I'm your host today, Mike Hickman, founder of paintergrowth.com. And today I have a fun guest. I'm really excited to speak with her. The not self-proclaimed, but proclaimed by others, the cabinet queen, Corrie Leister, founder of and CEO, owner, whatever you want to call it, chief for everything, Inspired by You.
Yep.
Good to have you today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Mike.
So we'll just first address the elephant in the room. We talked about it for a second before we went on, but how did the cabinet queen thing come to be?
It was just weird. I don't know. I guess I hadn't heard it before the PCA event, and then I was walking around and everybody's like, "There's the cabinet queen," and I heard it like 10 times that day, and it was a weird thing. I don't I don't think of myself as a cabinet queen, but I do love to refinish cabinets, and
How many
I have a
cabinets have
large
you
network.
painted personally?
Ooh, oh dear. This year alone, or last year we did 72 kitchens. So I mean, I've been in business since 2015, so several hundred.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
70, say it's 50 a year for 8 years. That's like 400 plus kitchens.
Yep.
It's a lot of
Yep.
kitchen. What is that? 20 doors per kitchen.
Yeah. Well, probably closer to 40, 30 to
Okay.
40.
Okay.
Yep.
So 40 times 400. What is that? 1,600 doors.
1600.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good
It's a
amount. I
lot.
mean,
Hey.
you could earn that title for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of doors, and, it's the great thing about refinishing cabinets is there's always a new problem to be solved. We've
Mhm.
done so many kitchens, and every kitchen, there's always some sort of issue, and it's what I love about what we do and what I hate about what we do at the same time, because it's never easy, but there's always a new challenge and a new problem. It just kinda keeps me sharp.
Yeah, I mean, you could take the easier route and paint bedrooms,
Right.
right? But kitchens are,
Yep.
high touch. They get banged around. They get chipped. They
Yep.
get greasy, and
Yep.
you're dealing with all that. So, how did you? Yeah, why and how did you decide to really niche down and pick cabinets?
Um, well, I started in 2015. My first job was a kitchen. But at the time, I was kind of doing a little bit of everything. And if you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be a cabinet refinisher, I would have been like, you're out of your mind. Like, this is not on my radar. It's not something that I've had a passion for doing. But I love painting. I love any kind of medium where I can get creative. And so when I started the business in 2015, I was doing kitchens, I was doing furniture, wall murals. I was teaching classes on like different home decor stuff, like signs that people could make. And as I was going through and progressing through it, I was just figuring out that some things you can make some money and some things are not very lucrative and probably a big waste of my time, even though I enjoyed doing it. So as I progressed, and I was like, well, at first it became just a means to send my kids to a private school and just make enough money to be able to do that and create some additional income. And then oh, I'm sorry, I keep on falling here. As I progressed, then it became more lucrative, and I was able to start niching down. And as we did it, I found that kitchens were probably the most out of everything that I was doing. Furniture, it was just so much time, and as much as like there's always a new problem to be solved with kitchens, there's always a new problem to be solved with furniture, and it was just a lot of time. Um, and a lot of, material and things like that. So as I progressed, it just kind of started to niche it down and start to focus on areas that were bringing in the income and weed away some of those areas where I was spending a lot of time and not making a lot of money.
Yeah. So I like that. The main thing I heard there is basically you ran your business by the numbers and made decisions by the numbers,
Right.
right? A little bit of what you like doing, which, you got to like your work, but then
Yeah.
mostly it's like, how can I, provide the most for my family by, working the least amount,
Right.
kind of.
Yeah.
um, so what, if you don't mind, do you mind getting into numbers a little bit?
Of course. I will tell you right off the bat that numbers are not my specialty. Over the years, I've collected a lot more data and like I do the best I can with the numbers, but I know that that's not my strength. So I've
Mhm.
surrounded myself with people who do help with the numbers because I want to be surrounded with people who are much smarter than me.
Absolutely. I'm the exact same way. I don't care to look at financial statements and dig into the weeds, but it's so important to know the numbers. So if I have someone
No
show me the
question.
numbers, show me what's important, it makes things a lot easier.
Yep.
So what do
Yep.
you look for in terms of like a gross margin on a cabinet project, in terms of percentages when you're not on the project? Like when you're just
Well,
having full on other painters complete a project for you.
yeah, well, we do everything in-house, so we don't sub out any work. Like my employees, I've got 17 part-time employees here, and they're all part-time. 14 of those 17 are women, um, and they're mostly moms who, they put their kids on the bus, then they come into work, and then they're out of here by 4. So that's kind of the makeup. And so we pay our employees, and we've got it's about 35% labor right now is our expense. And then we've got our material cost, which is roughly 10%, as far as that goes. We have our sales and marketing, which is roughly another 10%. Um, and so I would say you would have to ask my husband to be
No,
certain
that's, you
as
know
far as
what?
all
The
of the
numbers
numbers
that
go, but if
you
that helps,
yeah, so those are basically pretty much the exact same numbers as a just standard house painting. Like that's
yeah,
what we like to see. Those are good house painting numbers, right? Like when I
right,
see labor percentage, you kind of want around like between 35 and 42,
right,
maybe as
right,
much as 50 if it's subcontracting model, and then paint between 10 and
right,
17%. So being at
yep,
10%, obviously there's a lot more technique involved versus more product. Like if you're painting stucco,
right,
that product is going to be a lot higher, that percentage wise. But if you're just doing fine finishing, it's going to be a lot lower, but just more time.
right. Our margins are slightly higher than the average, like interior painter or residential repainter. They're slightly better, but at the same time, like they're pretty standard.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what have you found to be like pros and cons, or yeah, pros and cons of picking this one specific niche? Like
Mhm.
let's start with cons. Like what are some of the things that maybe you wish you don't like about the business model of niching down?
Okay, so we're cabinet refinishers. It really hasn't taken off until probably like really big, I would say the last 5 years. Before that, cabinet painting wasn't really like that much of a thing. Right now, it's the rage. I would say probably 2020, 2021. We were slammed with work. Like we were booked out a year in advance. And so in talking with one of my friends, Denny Johns, he saw this happen back in the 1970s where cabinet refinishing, it wasn't really a thing. And then it became a thing in the early 70s. And everybody was painting kitchen cabinets. And so you know, and a lot of people are uneducated who are doing it. So you've got your average house painter who hasn't been through all of this stuff that we've been through. I mean, I told you we've painted several hundred kitchens and there's always a new problem to be solved. So if you're just going in with a basic knowledge of how to paint kitchen cabinets, then it could lead to failure. And so what's gonna happen probably in these next couple years is uh, like as that happened in the past in the 70s is cabinet painting got a bad name. because in the next 5 years, chances are a lot of these kitchens that have been painted poorly are going to start failing. And then it will go out again. So niching down to kitchen cabinets, it can be scary because if it gets a bad name, all of these kitchens start to fail that weren't done well, then who's going to want their kitchen cabinet painted?
Hmm.
So that could definitely be a huge con in the cabinet refinishing industry. Um, is right now it's trending, and um, who's to say it's not going to go out in the next couple of years?
Hmm. Yeah, there's the existential risk of, is the service that you're providing going to stay in demand?
Right,
Whereas
right,
house painting, just standard house painting, should always be in demand as long as people build houses with drywall.
right, right. Well, no question. And I mean, you know, if you're a residential repainter, you can call them in 5 years and they might have another interior painting job for you. If you're a cabinet refinisher and you call them in 5 years, hopefully your job was done well and their kitchen doesn't need repainted again.
Yeah,
So like the
unless they want a different color preference.
Right, right. And I mean, it's pretty, our average kitchen is right around $7,500. So that's a lot of money just to change the color. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So,
absolutely.
so usually our customers are like one-time customers. And we treat them well, we'll service them well. But if we look to um, diversify or have other tools in our belt. Like this is another con that we've been thinking of, like we're our customers are one-time customers pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, hopefully if we do it well.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that you could, referrals would be your big play then, not necessarily
Yep.
repeat business, but referrals.
Right. And that's the majority of our business is referrals. Like
Hmm.
I, I would say we didn't even have to do any kind of marketing up until this year. Like it's all been word of mouth, Facebook followers, things like that. So,
Yeah.
um, you're not able to gauge like of course you want to collect data and you want to make sure that you have a good marketing strategy in place, which is what we've been doing a lot this year, uh, but before that it's just been referrals.
Hmm. Okay. And let's flip it then to the pros.
Yeah,
What do you love about having found a niche in your business?
I love that we have a proven process that we can be certain that we're setting people up for success. Like we know when kitchens come in, we know exactly what we need to do with them. We get really great results for our customers. I love that in our area, we're known as the cabinet specialists. Like people, when they think of kitchen cabinets, they think of Inspired by You locally. Um, it separates us from a lot of the other uh, repainters in our area. It separates us from a lot of the other painting companies because we do specialize. Um, I love that. I love educating. I have a degree in education, so I love educating too and passing the knowledge on to other people and helping to empower other painting companies to do it well. Um, I think that there's so many benefits to niching down and making sure that you have a proven process that's going to set people up for success.
Hmm. I think a lot of people focus on their sales and marketing engine prematurely, right?
Mm,
You need to know that you can get great results for customers before you start putting a
yes,
ton of money and time and energy into marketing.
right. Yeah. Oh, no question. Like it is so like Chad, my husband, he does all of our sales and marketing. And so when he's out promoting our team, he can do it wholeheartedly because he's seen the results. He's seen, the he you need to have a salesperson who believes in your process too, and who knows that you can get good results for your customers because then your customers will feel that on them and they'll believe it.
Yeah, yeah, that belief of the salesperson. I mean, typically it's the owner doing sales until a certain level, and
Right.
hopefully the owners believes in what they're selling too.
Yeah. Yeah, you would hope so.
Yeah, but then transferring that skill to somebody else. I mean, in your case, it's your husband. But
Mhm.
but if you're hiring another salesperson, like transferring that belief, they need to truly believe that they're
Right.
selling a great project too.
Yeah. And I think that that's because we have tried to scale with, subcontractors in the painting realm, um, and it was really challenging for Chad because he didn't believe it as much as he believed in the cabinet refinishing end. You know what I mean? So it's a process of building that belief and seeing the results.
Yeah. So, I mean, moving moving from there, like how do you see like what are the opportunities for you to scale your
Mhm.
cabinet business? So you have a business
Yeah.
now where you're doing, what do you say, about 70 to 80 kitchens a year.
Yeah, so we've amped up in the, I guess it was right around May, we started doing 2 kitchens per week. So that's our average right now, and
Okay.
we have 2 weeks off, so we'll take off the week of Thanksgiving and the week between, Christmas and New Year's. So about 50 weeks doing, 2 kitchens a week, so that's like 100 kitchens a year
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Do you have desire to go bigger, or is it a
Um
good cadence for you?
Yeah, I think, right now, we're gonna stabilize the cabinet refinishing aspect. So, I think we've grown our shop can definitely take on 2 kitchens per week, so we have the space here to be able to do it. I feel like we have the team to be able to do it. I think we're gonna stabilize in 2024 and maintain that, 2 kitchens a week throughout 2024. I don't think we have any desire to grow any bigger than
Mhm.
that just because of all of the issues that would do occur with each kitchen. And we don't want to put ourselves behind, but we will scale in other areas. Where we have started recently offering interior painting just because it complements our cabinet refinishing. Like we're able to go in and paint a kitchen and then we can paint the kitchen walls. Like it
Yeah.
just makes sense to be able to offer that service. We've scaled with offering countertops to our customers and backsplash and flooring, like things that they can like we can redo an entire kitchen. We also offer now like new builds, like if they want a new island or they want a pantry or they want their cabinets to extend to the ceilings, we're able to do that. And then in 2024, we're going to offer full refacing. Like I said, the trends, who's to say in 5 years, cabinet refinishing is going to be a thing of the past. So we've got to prepare for that. And how do we prepare for that? Well, if these kitchens start to fail, then let's reface them and
Yeah.
let's offer a new door option and we can put on new veneer and give the kitchen an entirely different look. So as business owners, you're always preparing for the worst. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst, and
Mhm.
you have ways to pivot should the economy take a turn, should cabinets start to fail. You just have we want to have a lot of options so that we can prepare for a worst case scenario.
So, yeah, so you're just expanding because you have such a limited opportunity with each client, right? It's not a
Hmm.
repeat business for the most part.
Right.
Increasing your what we would call LTV, lifetime value,
Hmm.
your ticket size per client, instead of being 6,000 per client, maybe you can make it 9,000 per client, and all of a sudden
Yep.
each client's worth 50% more.
Right. Right, you got
Yeah.
it. And like the ability to offer refacing now, we can charge double per opening, um, and it's less labor cost because we don't have to set up like the spray tent and things like that. It's less, the only cost we would incur is the material cost.
Hmm.
Um, and we have a new door source that does really great work, and they deal primarily with refacing. So
Yeah.
just being able to offer things and expand our services with ways that do not require a lot of our time and energy. Like the more streams of passive revenue we can create in our household, in our business, the better off we're going to be. So we're
Hmm.
looking for opportunities like that for countertops. Chad will go in and he'll go take a rough measurement. He'll send it off to our distributor here. they do the template. They do like all he has to do is coordinate the times. And so it's super easy money. And we offer our customers a great service and they don't have to deal with any of the headaches.
Yeah.
He coordinates everything.
You're
So
almost moving into the more of like the kitchen general contractor.
right, right. That's kind of the direction that we're heading. And it makes sense for who we are as a company and for our customers. Like our customers are more mid to high income. They're just really, um, any ways that we can serve our customers at a high level. We have a good reputation in our community, so
Mhm.
we might as well expand. Um,
Yeah, it makes sense for sure. From a value perspective, like as a homeowner, if I want to do some of these things, I bring someone to do my kitchen, and they're also like,
mhm.
"Hey, did you know your floor looks pretty dinged up? Like we could take care of
Yeah,
that too." And it's like, "Oh,
right,
I'm already committed to one part of the project. Like, okay, like how much extra is it to do the
right.
floor too?" Like that would be super convenient instead of like going on Google, finding a flooring person. I don't really
Hmm.
want flooring that bad, but if it's here and it's convenient and they bring by samples and they make it super easy, like
Right.
maybe I do it.
Yeah. Especially like with the interior walls now that we're doing, like if we're spraying a kitchen and, we use low tack painter's tape, but if it should peel off some tape off of the ceiling or the wall or whatever, we just have our interior painter come in and fix it all up
Yeah.
afterwards and then give them a fresh coat. And it can completely change the look of the space,
Oh, absolutely.
offering like different services, like even just offering hardware, like changing out hinges and change like those are just easy ways that we can offer services that they're gonna need or that they're probably gonna want, um, and just making a small margin there.
100%. So one of the things that's important to you obviously is family and your kids and
Mm,
spending time with them and being around. What How have you set up your business to help you, not just generate the income that you want, but help you live the life that you want and kind of be a
mhm.
present parent?
Yeah, I was actually just talking about this, with some people this morning. They were asking about work-life balance and stuff, and I don't believe in work-life balance because I just don't think it's easy to attain. But I believe in integration and making my kids a part of what we do and making them part of our successes and part of our challenges too, letting them know different things. And one of the things that I've done from really early on, from the point when I was working in our garage, was like, okay, what's your favorite restaurant, guys? They would always say Red Robin. They love Red Robin because of the balloons, I guess, and the burgers. And and so, we would say, "Okay, every time we finish a kitchen, I'll take the family out to Red Robin." And so instead of them being resentful that I had to work, they'd be like, "Get to work, mom, like, go get to work," so that they could come out to eat with us. And
Okay.
so, like, from the beginning, it was always, um rallying them around our goals and like letting them know we work hard, but we also play hard. Um, I think that that's so important, and letting my kids know that they're a priority. I coach my daughter's volleyball team. I wouldn't do it if they didn't want me to coach because my time is so limited, but I've coached them since they were 9 and 10, and my girls are 13 and 14 now. And um, there's nights where I will go to practice and then I will come back to the shop and I'll work at night. But they know that because they're a priority to me, I'm going to take that time and go and spend that time with them
Yeah.
for them. So just making sure that they know that they're a priority. I think oftentimes, parents try to do everything for their kids. And I never wanted to do anything for my kids that they were able to do for themselves. If I did, it was going to be a blessing, but at the same time, I didn't want them to expect it because I wanted to raise up independent, incredible contributors to their communities. And I believe that our kids, like, they see the way that Chad and I work, and that's just been ingrained from them and little up that they can do anything that they put their mind to.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll be there to support them and cheer them on. But I don't know. That's just my personal philosophy.
Well, I think that's important to integrate your family in your business. I think it's a little bit harder, for like I have little kids, like my kids are
Oh,
2 and
yeah.
4, right? So
Mhm.
there's less integrating and it's more just like,
Sure.
yeah, but that's cool that you found a way that works for you and your family so
Yeah.
that work time doesn't just have to be work time. It can also be family time where you guys are working together because kids are pretty
Yeah.
capable.
Yeah, no
Surprising, actually.
question. No
Yeah.
question. And like when I worked out of my garage, when I was painting, I would set up a table and my kids would be painting in there too. Like they would be doing craft type stuff, but it was
Mhm.
like we would all be painting together and we would all be working together and
Yeah.
like just little things like that that we were able to accomplish when they were little at home. Um, but
Well, then
it
then they
just
see you working and they see your work
Mhm.
ethic and they wanna emulate it, and it's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Now, how about setting up the systems for your team? So many would
Mm,
say that painting cabinets is a fairly high skill activity. Takes a lot
mhm.
of attention to detail. A lot can go wrong. Drips, sags, dust probably is huge.
Yep.
Um, what do you? How do you typically train your team? What types of systems do you have? How do you empower them? Do you
Mm,
let them make their own mistakes, or do you catch them every single time? What is your
yeah.
general philosophy around that look like?
Well, we have a saying here, no pain emergencies. So that I feel really helps to empower our employees so that they're not afraid to fail.
So you get that
Um,
from Nick?
I got that actually Nick got that from me, I think.
Okay.
But I got that from Michael Crane. He yeah, Nick and I are good friends. So we talk pretty frequently. But yeah, there's no pain emergencies. Michael Crane was the one who first said that several years ago, to me because I was stressing out, and he's like, "Corey, just chill. There's no pain emergencies." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna use that." And when I started using that with my team, like it really freed them to not be afraid to fail. And so we definitely use that philosophy here frequently. And they just know that anything can be fixed. I think that that's so important. And in developing our processes and systems from August of 2020 to like December of 2021, we had classes in here in my shop every month where I would bring in different professional refinishers from across the industry who would teach on their something that they really excelled at. And so that was such an incredible period of learning and growth for me personally because I was able to pick and choose different things from some of the best in the industry and create a system for ourselves, for our business that would set our customers up for success. And I feel like that was such an incredible period where we were just able to advance. I mean, when I started the group, I run the group Kitchen Cabinet Painting Experts. And when I started that group back in 2017, I think it was, I was brushing and rolling kitchens using chalk paint. And so I had limited knowledge. Um, and the cool thing is, like, as I learned and grew through all of these other professional refinishers, we worked ourselves up to a place where, now we're spraying industrial coatings imported from Italy in a state-of-the-art spray booth, and I hadn't even picked up a sprayer until 2018, which
Yeah.
it kind of blows my mind when I think about it. But just utilizing all of the shared knowledge from some of these incredible or finishers. I mean, Nick being one of the leading forces in that shared information movement, I think it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick and the PCA are doing great things right now. It's
No
awesome
question.
to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Um, so so back to the team. So you've learned some, over the years, you've learned some great new techniques. You use some awesome
Mhm.
products. You have the best tools, of course.
Right.
What does your process look like when I mean, from booking a
Mhm.
job to having your team do it?
Yep.
What is that? Just run me through that.
Yeah, so Chad does all of our sales, so he'll go out and he'll sell the job, and then it goes to Jen, who's our coordinator, and then Jen will book the customers into the dates and everything, and we'll make sure that we have that process and system in place. We'll schedule a tear down date where we go and we take all of the doors and drawers down. We bring those back to our shop the first week we're working here in our shop. We'll prep all of the doors. Like I said, we do two kitchens at once. So we'll prep all of the doors. And then the next day we sand all of the doors and we prime them. The next day we'll sand all of the doors, we prime again. The next day we sand and we finish coat. And then on Friday we package all of the doors, get them ready for transport. And then the following week we're on site for 2 weeks. So in our customers' homes, we're on site for 2 days, really. There's 2 days where they can't use their kitchen. The other days, their doors may be off or whatnot, but their kitchen is fully utilized. Um, and so when we're on site, the first day we prep, sand, and mask everything. We get it ready to spray, and then the next day we will uh, everything's sanded. We set up our spray tent. We prime, we sand, we coat. We get everything ready to go in there, um, and then we tear down the spray booth. Everything's ready to go. The following day we come in and we install all of the doors and drawers.
Okay.
So their kitchen is completely done.
And so you are not producing anymore,
Mm-mm.
right? Okay.
Correct.
So your team is you said you were catching up on a little bit of production. You had to be covering some
This
sleep.
week, this
Yeah.
week I am. Yeah, it's been a little crazy this week. We have Jen broke her foot, and Becca's mom found out she has leukemia, and
Oof.
Kalila's father had a heart attack. Like
Oh my gosh.
crazy, crazy stuff like that has just all happened this week. So
You
it's been
gotta
a little insane.
you gotta come
And
in. You gotta help the team.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because we operate, in our business, we operate God family business. And so when there's a need in somebody's family, like that should take priority over business. And so our team knows that and I know that. And so if I'm able to come in and help out so that they're able to spend that time with their family, then that's important to me.
Yeah. I think that is important as long as it doesn't get abused. But there has to be
Correct.
that trust in order before, or else it doesn't work, right?
Correct. Correct.
So you
Yeah.
have 14 women on staff, seven all part-time, 17 part-time people, mostly moms.
Correct.
Um, I imagine that these moms that you're hiring don't have experience painting when you hire them.
Correct. We hire character,
Yeah.
and I think that that's so important. I don't think that painting kitchen cabinets is rocket science. Neither is interior painting. So, we train skill,
What does
and
that training process look like?
we have SOPs that people study. We do, it's a lot of hands-on training where, we go right through our SOPs. Like when people are on site, everybody takes a job. We show them what it looks like. We have them, like we kind of do or we learn, we do, and then we teach. That's so we have a lot of leaders built into our systems. And when we hire, we just look for people who take initiative, people who, are able to jump in and fulfill a task without having to be told what to do. So we have our SOPs, and whenever we're on site, we're looking for people who are like looking for the next thing to do and going in and pitching in and helping. And there's a lot of because we're not afraid to fail and because we know that there's no pain emergencies, like we can just go in and we can help people engage them and like, okay, so you can see how on this tape line, it's a lot more effective if we just do one long tape line as opposed to four, because whenever we're tearing down, then we have to keep on ripping these small pieces. And like we can kind of talk them through why we do what we do as they're doing it. And that seems to help a lot too. There's a lot of accountability built in too. So, if people are doing things well, we'll send a picture of it. Like, hey guys, you masked this kitchen so well. Like, whoever was taping the walls on this job, like, you're gonna get a $50 bonus because this was incredible today. And then the team will brag on each other, and it's pretty cool to see what happens through that. And then we can also do that too,
Do you
like, hey
use like
guys,
Slack or something to communicate?
yeah, we use Slack.
Okay,
We use Slack.
that's
So
awesome. I love that
that works
community.
really effective. Yeah, yeah, it works great. And we're also able to do it too, like, hey guys, this spot wasn't masked so well. This is what happened as a result of that, because then they're able to see what happens when it's not done well.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah,
it's
we just keep
really
those.
important to point out the successes in those
Mhm.
situations and not just the failures all of the time.
Right. Right.
I think it's a
Right.
Traction. Like, did you read Traction?
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's from Traction where it's like, you do performance review, but if in a performance review call or meeting, all you talk about is what needs to be worked on, people are really gonna like dread those calls or dread those meetings. But if you
Hmm.
do performance review meetings where every now and then you only talk about the positive things, all of a
Right.
sudden they're not dreading these meetings like, oh, this could be positive. And then you need, when there are negative things, you just make sure to deliver them in the right way, and there's a good balance of
Yeah.
negative and positive.
Yeah, and finding that balance can be challenging at times, especially if it seems like everything is like, oh gosh, we didn't do this, we didn't do this, we didn't do this, and sometimes it's challenging, but I feel like as owners, it's important to be a good finder and always look for the good so that you're able to point out that.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, people are more apt uh, to be receptive if there is something that goes wrong, if they know that the majority of the time you are pointing out those good things.
Well, if it turns out to be too many bad things and you don't have good things to say, well, then they probably shouldn't be on your team.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when it comes to training your new employees who become painters, obviously you hire them as painters. They don't become painters the second they're hired. You need to learn how to be a painter.
Right.
Do you have the SOPs, but when they like say
Mhm.
practice spraying for the first time, do you have like dummy doors that they paint on, or you just show them how to do it and you just go straight to homeowners' doors?
No, no, we don't. We never go straight to homeowners' doors. Yeah, we always want to make sure that we train up people well. So we have tons of doors in here at the shop because for several of our customers we are ordering new doors. So they often have us just take the doors so they don't have to dispose them. So we have tons of doors in here at the shop that people can train on. But we always do it in a process like the prime coat. It's super easy to sand back. We have everybody train with the prime coat, even when they're on site, like, they'll do the prime coat on the lowers first because they're not like, most of the time, people are standing up, like, they're not the most visible, like, the uppers are the most visible, so we always start our training inside, like, the refrigerator panels, or inside the like, where the stove is. That's the best place to train because 'cause they're areas that are never seen. And with a prime coat, if you make a mistake, you just sand it back and work
Yeah.
from there. So we'll start the training there with the prime coat, and then they can progress to the lower boxes. And then once they get the lower boxes and the coverage is good, even, it looks great, then we progress to the prime coat on the upper boxes. And then they can do the prime coat in the whole kitchen. And then we do the same thing with a finish coat. So we start on the inside refrigerator panels with a finish coat because the finish coat is a little bit more finicky with the Malaysia products. Like they're a little bit more temperamental. So just kind of getting that feel on those areas that are, again, they're never going to be seen. And then progressing to the lower cabinets and then the upper cabinets on the first finish coat. And then, um, as we go, then they can finally do the final finish coat.
Do you
So
have like a certification process where you certify them on each step, or
we
like a
haven't had a we haven't gotten that far yet. It's on our list of many
yeah.
things to do. But yeah, absolutely. That's something that we're looking into. And we're still we have been in such a growth phase, like we've been growing, 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 growing. And now that we're in that stabilization phase, I feel like we have the right people in place, we have the right team in place. Now that we're in that stabilization phase, we can start to implement a lot of that stuff that,
Mhm.
um, we've just been kind of growing so fast that there hasn't been time to get all of that stuff in place. So
Yeah.
we're entering that phase. Like that's the goal by 2024 is to have everything in place so that we're smooth sailing like a well-oiled machine into 2024.
And sometimes that's good to do. It's like not even take your foot off the gas, but just don't accelerate for a little bit and just get your ducks in a
Right.
row, get your systems perfected so that
Yep.
when it is time to like, double down, maybe you want to, instead of just doing a slow growth, maybe it's time to go from 2 kitchens a week to 4 kitchens a week. And
Yep.
maybe you can do that all of a sudden because you have the systems in place. You've taken the time to build the foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, just I feel like we have the right people in place now. Now just making sure that everything, like all of the other, like you said, all of our ducks are in a row. We have everything in place to help just continue to thrive.
Yeah. And what length of a process would you say it takes from a brand new person who's never painted in their life coming on until they are competent to do a full kitchen and basically be the foreman on a job?
I think it depends on the person greatly.
Hmm.
Is We've had people accelerate very rapidly. Like we have a new employee who just started in this shop about 2 months ago, and I mean, her attention to detail, we have her spraying like, she's priming all of our doors now, she's doing so well, and it's only been, like, a month and a half. And she'll progress to the finish coat here this next month as well. So here in the shop, I mean, it's been, I would say, 2 months.
Yeah.
Uh, and now granted, it's gonna take a while for her to get to that final finish coat, but, I mean, she's the right person. And then there are times where you have people who just maybe they lack the attention to detail, or they're very good, they're very fast, or um, but their attention to detail isn't as great, or then you have people who are so attention to detail, but their speed is really slow. So just, it's going to vary depending on the person. I would say, for me, I progressed really quickly just because I was like, show me how to do it and I'm going to go do it. And it was like, and I did my own kitchen because I wasn't going to experiment on anybody else's. I was going to do my own and see how it did. And sure enough, it was like, it turned out beautiful. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And then, it kind of took off from there. So I think it definitely depends on the person. Yeah,
So
it
anywhere
definitely
from like
depends on
three
the
to six
person.
months, it's kind of sounds like for a training period.
Yes. Yeah, I would say about 3 to 6 months. Like I said, some people are gonna be faster, some people are gonna take a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have some clients lining up to speak with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
No worries, no
that.
worries. I'll let you take care of your business, and I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me today and chat. And I
Of
learned a lot. I took
course.
2 pages of notes here just talking to
Oh, wow.
you. Yeah, it was great to meet you. And are you planning on being at the expo again this year or in
Of
2024?
course. Yep, I would not miss it.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I will be there and looking forward to hanging out and
All right.
and chatting again.
Well, thanks for your time, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.